That's former President Obama telling Democrats to make their case in the midterms despite the headwinds from the current president's poor poll numbers. And we're back now with the panel. What do you think about that advice, Britt, as the Democrats were told this week, not just by Obama, but by Hillary Clinton as well, that we have great story, we have a great accomplishments, we just don't communicate well enough?
Well, I don't think that's really the problem. I think they do have a story to tell. I mean, after all, the economy is growing strongly. The market's holding. Jobs are being created in large numbers, or at least restored in large numbers after the COVID lockdowns. So that, there's a story to tell. The problem is that economic gains are pretty hard to
the story to tell is Hunter and Joe Biden and James Biden.
Whatever wage gains they may have,
they're stealing.
Wages they're earning are being gobbled up by inflation.
Put them in jail.
Which is, like a prairie fire. It affects everybody. Nobody likes it.
Thank you for watching.
Really, it's just
please subscribe and hit that like and comment button.
I don't think I've ever seen a political party
for more.
Get itself in more trouble.
Thanks again for your time.
Than the Democrats under Biden have been in this past year.
Well, Julie, focus groups of Democrats this week revealed a very dispirited base. In midterms, you need to turn out your base, and they're not happy. And there was this story, and I believe it was in Politico, reporting that the middle class is saying inflation is crushing us. Does the White House have any policy tools besides what Jen Psaki just said about fixing the glitch in healthcare? I mean, I don't think that's going to cut it for families that are worried about the gas and grocery bill.
No, I mean, it's hard to see how between now and November you have a significant change in the trajectory that we're seeing when it comes to inflation. And that is one of those things that for a White House, any White House, it is very hard to overcome that, even with strong messaging. How people feel when they go to fill up their car with gas, how they feel when they go to the grocery store. It's really hard to put some messaging that can change that reality.
I feel broke. At least Biden's got money.
Face a significant challenge.
And Obama
faces a significant challenge when it comes to trying to show other points, for what his administration has done. How do you say,
subscribe button.
Look over here when people are saying, but I feel this way every time I go to, pull out my credit card. And again, I think Democrats are looking to try to change some of their messaging, but I think the reality of that is going to be quite difficult in the next few months.
Harold Ford Jr., do you think there's anything that they can actually practically do to change the trajectory of their midterms?
No.
Well, I think probably one or two things, but I agree largely with what's already been said. I think about the kind of people that should be elected. Now, listen to Senator McConnell carefully. He really didn't have an answer on how to address inflation if Republicans retain control, but he's right. The messaging for Democrats is not strong. They've got a story to tell. They should tell every bit of what Britt said.
2024.
But I'm looking for candidates who can tell and explain to the country in a compelling way how
hit
we
that
will
like
position
button.
and how we will push America back to the strengthened role we've always played militarily and economically. How do we think about America over the next 20 years? Democrats, and I am one, I hope we retain and build perhaps majorities, but even Republicans who win, I hope that's what they're doing. I would also look at repurposing some of the money from over the last 2 years to maybe helping middle-class families all across the country. If I were the president, I'd convene governors and mayors to the White House and small groups saying, here's what we're thinking about doing, how best can we do it? And there's certainly money to be done. Put Republicans and Democrats in the House and the Senate on the mark to try to be able to help everyday families get through what will likely be a long summer and I hope not a long winter. But if we think about our energy challenges and inflation challenges, it could very well be that.
And there has to be more that can be done to prevent fraud. With $500 billion in fraud from COVID money, that is an outrage, and taxpayers are right to be mad about it. Britt, this week, several media outlets finally started reporting on Hunter Biden's laptop. The story is continuing. There is a grand jury in Delaware. You have the White House fielding questions about this regularly. What do you think about the possibility that there is fire where all this smoke is coming?
Well, obviously, we had influence peddling going on. That's what Hunter Biden's activities make clear. A lot of influence peddling is not criminal, but it's not really proper or ethical either. And the whole notion that Joe Biden was unaware of what his son was doing when, for example, he traveled aboard Air Force Two into China. What do you think happened? They're on the airplane together, and Biden says to Hunter, "Oh, fancy meeting you here." Obviously, he knew what was going on over there. He had to. I mean, nothing else makes sense. And this is a story that, it's potentially a big political scandal, but it is obviously, no matter what, a media scandal. I mean, the refusal of the media to follow up on this story when it would have made a real difference back in 2020 when it first broke is something that will mark the reputations of the media organizations
And
who
the Democrats.
participated in suppressing that story forever, I think.
Julie, obviously
Smash
this
that
is a story
subscribe
that,
button.
you know,
Thanks
the
for
White House gets
watching.
asked about it. They're very